Kwara State is facing a quiet but dangerous war. In recent months, rural communities like Ukiode, Babanla, Kayama, and parts of Kwara North have come under repeated attacks by armed bandits. What began as sporadic assaults has now become a sustained siege, leaving residents trapped between fear and despair. The crisis deepened earlier this year in Kayama, where the dreaded Mahmouda group launched deadly raids on local vigilantes. Several community defenders were killed in the attack, sending shockwaves through the entire northern corridor of the state. That assault marked a grim turning point. It was the first time organized armed groups overpowered local security volunteers, exposing the fragility of community defense networks. Soon after, similar incidents spread to Kyode and Babanla, both in Ifalodi local government area. Armed men ambushed farmers returning from their fields, kidnapped travelers, and burned motorcycles to block escape routes. In Lafiaji, a town long considered safe, gunmen invaded at night, looting homes and abducting residents. This incident shattered the illusion that Kwara was immune to the wave of violence sweeping through parts of Nigeria. Despite repeated condemnations, the government's response has remained largely reactive. Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak has visited affected areas, promising stronger intelligence networks and more boots on the ground. Yet, residents say the promises have not translated into visible protection. They complain of poor surveillance, slow emergency response, and the absence of a permanent security presence. There are also rising suspicions of sabotage, as some locals believe informants within the community have been aiding the attackers by providing information about security patrols and the movement of prominent individuals. The root causes are clear: porous borders, poverty, and weak rural policing. Kwara shares boundaries with Kogi and Niger, both states struggling with banditry. The thick forests between these borders serve as perfect hideouts for criminal groups. With rising unemployment and declining farm productivity, idle youth have become vulnerable to recruitment by armed networks. Most police stations in these rural areas are poorly equipped, understaffed, and lack mobility, leaving communities to depend on local vigilantes who are often outgunned. However, it is not all gloom. In recent weeks, there have been reports of successful security operations and the rescue of kidnapped victims through coordinated efforts between security agencies and local vigilantes. This success offers hope that the tide can be turned, but the government must sustain the combat efforts and avoid complacency. Security operations need to be consistent, proactive, and intelligence-driven to prevent the resurgence of attacks. The consequences of inaction could be disastrous as farmers abandon their lands,